Have you ever looked at a really old poem and just felt like there was a secret message hiding inside it? Well, today we're going to unlock one. We're diving into an 800-year-old Korean poem that, on the surface, is just about a flower. But trust me, hidden in these ancient characters is a huge philosophical idea about time, nature, and our own minds. So here it is, in its original Hanja characters, written by a brilliant scholar named Gyu-bo. Just listen to the sound of it in Korean for a second. Sanhwa balyugok. 욕보 산중천, 하중관계락, 다시중중인. It just has this incredible rhythm, doesn't it? Now, let's figure out what it actually means. Here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the poem's central mystery. Then, we're going to decode it, literally character by character. After that, we'll dig into its philosophical core, see how the main idea plays out, and finally, we'll ask what this ancient wisdom means for us today. So the poem kicks off with this really vivid image, right? A flower is blooming, basically shouting that spring has arrived. But here's the thing. It seems like this beautiful message is just echoing into an empty space. There's no audience. And that right there is the mystery we're about to solve. To solve this, we've got to put on our detective hats. And our first clue is in the poem's first two lines. We're going to look at each individual Hanja character, which are the fundamental building blocks of meaning in classical Korean literature. This is where the magic happens. The very first line reads, Sanhwa balyugok. It sounds nice, but what does it mean? Let's pull back the curtain on each of those sounds and symbols. Okay, let's look at the characters. We've got sun, pronounced sun, for mountain. Then ha for flower. Fa, or bao, means to bloom or emerge. Yu means deep or secluded. And finally, gok is a valley. You see, each one is a little piece of a bigger picture. So, let's put it all together. Sanhwa balyugok translates to mountain flowers bloom in the deep valley. Now, this isn't just any old valley. The source tells us that this deep valley is a symbolic place, a quiet, isolated spot perfect for spiritual practice. Keep that in mind. The second line adds another layer to this scene. 욕보 산중춘. Let's see what these new characters bring to the story. All right, first up is yok, which means to want or desire. Then we have bao, for to report or announce. We see sun, mountain again. Jung means in or middle. And finally, chun is spring. So, Yokbao Sanjung Chun means the flowers are wanting to announce that spring is here in the mountains. We've got this incredible image of a flower trying so hard to send a message. But who is it for? And is anybody even listening? And this is where things get really interesting. The poem is about to answer our question. The whole focus shifts now, moving from the outside world of nature to the inner world of the human mind. This is where we find the real heart of the poem. The third line poses a question. 하중관계락. This line is the real turning point, and it sets up the final, incredible answer. Let's look at the characters. We have nan, ha, meaning how, cang, jing, means ever, and guan, means to be concerned with. But the last two are the real key. Kai, ge, means to bloom, and lo, rock, means to fall. Put them together, kai lo, and you get the entire cycle of change in nature. So the line何曾管開落is basically asking, how could they ever be concerned with its blooming and falling? Wait, who are they? And why on earth wouldn't they care that spring is here? The poem is building the suspense beautifully for the final line. And here it is, the answer, the key that unlocks the entire poem. Dashi jungjung in. Okay, let's break this one down. 도, da is most. 시, si, is the verb to be. We've seen zhong, before, in. And run is person. But the most important character on this entire slide, maybe in the whole poem, is ding, zheng. It means meditative concentration or stillness. It's everything. This state, zheng, is also known as Samadhi in Buddhist philosophy, and it's a pretty profound concept. It's a state of such deep inner quiet that the mind becomes completely focused, so focused, in fact, that it's no longer bothered by what's happening outside, or even by the passing of time itself.
So, the final line, 多是定中人, reveals the answer to our mystery. Most people here are in a state of samadhi. The flower's message isn't heard, not because the valley is empty, but because the people in it have gone to a place beyond that message. They've reached a transcendent state where the changing of seasons is just not on their radar.
So now that we have all the pieces of the puzzle, we can step back and see the incredible idea the poem is built on. It's all about this powerful contrast between the outer world of nature and the inner world of the mind. And this really illustrates it perfectly. On one side, you have the mountain flower, the sun taewa. It represents the changing physical world. It's totally bound by time, it blooms and then it falls. But on the other side, you have the meditator, the jongjongin. They represent the exact opposite, the unchanging internal mind that has transcended time. It's just a beautiful contrast.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What can an 800-year-old poem about meditative stillness really teach us about our super fast-paced modern lives? A lot, actually.
So, let's recap. We've seen how these incredible Hanja characters aren't just letters, they're building blocks of meaning. We learned that classical Korean poetry is amazing at mixing beautiful images of nature with really deep philosophy. But the most important idea, the one to really think about, is jung. This idea that it's possible to find a state of inner peace that isn't affected by all the constant change happening around us. And that really leaves us with one final thought. This poem is about finding a stillness that the world can't touch. So let me ask you this. In our world of nonstop notifications and constant updates, what would it take to be able to notice the beauty of the flower but not be disturbed by its endless cycle of blooming and falling? It's something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this journey.